everybody, I'm here with a little bit of an update video. I'm just going to be talking about kind of, what's been going on for the month of July, what my plans are for the month of August, all of that kind of stuff. Some of the things I've been like watching and doing and listening to, this past month. So it's not really like a favorites video or anything. It's not really like I was thinking of like doing, ways to celebrate Lammas video. And then I was just like, not really feeling it. So I was like, let's just do a chatty update video. So if you're interested in just having a little chit chatty video with me, that's what this is gonna be. There's no particular topic for this video right now. So yeah, we do have Lammas coming up around the corner. Lammas, Lunasa, however you say it. I was kind of doing like some videos about like affordable and like realistic ways to celebrate the season, because like I see all these lovely videos or TikToks or whatever, where people are like, have these like beautiful altars and everything's like perfect, and they're like, oh, I'm breaking fresh baked bread with herbs I grew in my garden. And if you can do that, that's awesome, good for you. But I do not have the time, the energy, or the skills to do any of those things. First of all, I have a brown thumb. I love plants, I love seeing people's gardens, but I am not a gardener. Like, you see my front garden, mind you, it is shaded and the soil's acidic, so that does limit me in what I can grow there. But basically I have some perennials, and then I put some petunias in May, and I say, good luck guys, and I walk away. I put my gnome there. I might pull a couple of weeds, or if it gets really hot and hasn't rained, like water them. But I'm not a big gardener. I wish I was one of these like magical, TikTok-y witches with like these beautiful gardens and very aesthetically pleasing, and these beautiful, like very witchy, very dark sort of, altars and things. But the reality is that this is what you get here. That I'm just not, I don't have the time, the energy, or the money for those things. And so for me, I have to think of like realistic ways to honor that time of year. And so I might buy a really nice loaf of bread, but I'm not gonna be baking it, that's for sure. So yes, or go to there's a farmer's market near here that's delightful. So I might go and go peruse things there. But I don't garden. I mean, if you do garden, that's great, good for you, awesome. And so this time of year I associate with like the beginning of the harvest, as far as like we're starting to get vegetables out of our garden. Depending how the weather is, in August is when they start to like harvest here some of the grains and things. But it's the start of all right, that. And it's also reminding like fall's on its way. And so it's that reminder, like, get in the summer fun while you can, especially in this part of the world. Get it in while you can. Summer is short. We have like 3 months of it, and then it's gone, right? And it'll be fall. And I do love fall. But it's like summer, you got to get it in now. The other thing with Lammas, for some reason I associate Lammas with like ascended masters and sort of like with ancestors a little bit, but not so much like personal ancestors, more like the people on the other side that we look up to, sort of like saints, ascended masters, those kind of things. And so at this time of year I often pull out my ascended masters deck. I'm going to be working with this for the month of August, one of the decks I'm working with. I'll put up a video about the decks I'm working with soon. It's the Ascended Masters Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue. This one is old. Like, this I got in the very early 2000s, whenever this came out, and she still was using the PhD on her name thing there. Apparently she does not have a PhD. And this is one of the decks that she told people that was like evil and to burn when she kind of went nuts. I love this deck. I think it's a great deck. This and the Goddess one that she had are my favorite decks of hers. And so this one, there's also Keepers of the Light is another sort of like Ascended Master Ancestor sort of deck that I work with as well. There's also Kyle Gray's Angels, Ancestors and Ancestors one. That's another one I like to work with. But yeah, this is the one that I work with at this time of year. I usually pull a card for the Sabbath out of this one. So I might pull a card for all of us at the end of this particular video. But for me, like, Lammas is one of those ones that's a little trickier to celebrate, because it's really easy for Samhain and Yule, because to like do things to celebrate, because I mean, we're already like Yuletide. I mean, there's all the Christmas stuff, right? So it's pretty easy. Same with like, you know, Samhain, Halloween, pretty easy to incorporate that. Even like spring equinox, all the Easter stuff is out in the stores, so that's a pretty easy one too. Lammas is a little trickier. I think it's one that's like not so much in the consciousness of, you know, sort of like the popular culture anymore. But however, here in Canada, the first weekend of August is a long weekend. The first Monday in August we have off. It's Terry Fox Day. If you don't know who Terry Fox is, look him up. He's a pretty awesome person, Canadian hero. So yes, Terry Fox Day. So it's going to be a long weekend. So I associate it with the August long weekend. So you at least get to have like a long weekend around that time, at least here anyway. And I'm associated kind of with barbecues as well. I would really love to be able to go to the beach. I love going to the beach. I don't think that's something that's going to happen, but that is something that you could do as like a way to celebrate Lammas, to celebrate this time of year. So, you know, there's things like summery things that you can do where it just, you know, people don't know that you're celebrating a holiday. It just looks like you were, you know, celebrating summer, enjoying summer. Some of the symbols I associate with Lammas are the sunflower, which is, you know, sunflowers here are fairly popular, especially lately. People have been growing them more just since the war started in Ukraine. There were a lot of people here with Ukrainian heritage, and so sunflowers are pretty popular. I associate that with this time of year. Also like wheat and vegetables, images like that with this time of year. So, you know, you can incorporate some of those images. And that's, again, they just look like summer harvesty type images that you can kind of incorporate into things. For me, it's going to be, like I said, pretty low key. I'm probably going to do a little ritual. I am actually going to post on my Patreon to all members, like even the non-paying members, a suggested ritual for Lammas, kind of like inviting in creative inspiration, because on my Patreon, the theme for August on the Coven level is creativity. So we're going to be talking about that. I also associate Lammas with like creativity, with like creative projects. So I think it's a really good time to take a look at the creative projects. Think about what you might want to work on, especially as we get towards fall and the darker time of the year, which is like a really good time to kind of like work on some of those things. So thinking about your creative projects, but also not just thinking ahead, looking back on what you've done over the past year and like giving yourself that like pat on the back of like, look what I've done. Look at all the cool things that I've made this year. And there's nothing wrong with that, looking at those things. Lammas is also associated with sacrifice too. And so I think of it as like, is there a bad habit I need to give up? Is there, you know, is there something that isn't serving me so well? And it doesn't have to be like a huge thing. Like maybe it's like, maybe you take coffee to work instead of spending money on coffee, like things like that, right? Like little things that can make our lives a little bit better. So it's sort of like, what habits, bad habits do I need to sacrifice for this time of year? So that's my thoughts kind of on Lammas. On a personal note, the last month I've been feeling a lot better. May and June were like difficult months for me. If you've been on this channel, you know, it's been kind of like grieving things. It's been a weird year for me this past year or so. There's been like 3 deaths, and like it's been like really, really weird. And I think that all of that just sort of came to a head this spring, and I just needed some time to like have some time to myself, have some time to grieve, have some time to take a step back, and just, you know, take some time for myself. And so I want to thank everybody who, you know, had like the kind comments and kind words. That was really, really lovely. I really appreciate that. And you know, I know like it happens to all of us, right? Like we just have those times where a bunch of stuff just happens, and it's like when it rains it pours, right? And sometimes we just need to take that step back. But I am feeling more like kind of more back into myself, that more sort of like wanting to be in routine, wanting to be creative, wanting to do things again. So I'm not going to overly push myself, but I'm just going to kind of see what I can do, see how creative I'm feeling about things. I'm going to be gentle and kind with myself, but I was like, oh, you know what? I feel like I need to make a video and just sort of update people with where all of that stuff is out. Yeah, because it's been like my, if you haven't been here before, first of all, welcome. And for those of you who have been for a while, thank you for your support and your love. Yeah, there's been like one of my brothers passed away in June. And so that was like, you know, that was like huge, right? Like it was really, really big. And it's the second brother that I've lost. And it's been very surreal. Sometimes it still doesn't feel real. And it's been a really difficult one. You can actually see some of the videos from last year where I talk about what happened with my brother. Just so you know, he died of addiction. He died of alcoholism. It's not something that I hide. It's something that I think is far more common than a lot of people know. And, you know, a lot of times in the past, people would kind of hide it or be shameful. But I think that nowadays it's really important to talk about that, because the more I talk about it, the more I realize how common this stuff is. And we need to like support each other through this, you know. And then in the fall, I lost my mother-in-law. You know, she'd been sick for a while. That one was not a shock, but it was still hard. My mother-in-law was a really lovely, wonderful person, an excellent mother-in-law, and we all miss her. And my stepkids miss their grandma a lot. So, you know, that was a hard one too. And so last summer was like really, really difficult. And then I found it in the spring this year that a former boyfriend of mine was murdered, and that was just like a huge shock. And you know, grieved over that one too, because it was a shock. It was like, I mean, I don't know if anyone expects anyone to get murdered, but it's somebody that I would never imagine that kind of thing would happen to them. So that was a shocking one too. So I had to take some time to kind of like process all of that stuff, because that one just sort of like I was doing okay before, where I was like, I'm carrying on, I'm doing things. And then that just kind of like, it was like, there was it was like a teetering pile of grief. And then that just like pushed it over. And so I needed some time to kind of like process like all of that stuff, for sure. And I mean, do you ever really stop processing that stuff? Probably not. But continuing to try to go on with things as much as I can, and getting back into routine, I think is very healthy for me. But I did need, I think, some time to just step away. The case with my ex-boyfriend has been pushed back again. The legal system is painfully slow. I think that's everywhere in the world, but I try not to think of it as a justice system, because if you expect justice, unfortunately, you probably won't get it. I think of it as a legal system, but I am, you know, part of me hopes that you know, they will see justice, but we shall see what happens. So yeah, lots of that kind of stuff going on. But so I took like the last couple of months and just sort of like didn't do a whole lot. Like, honestly, I didn't do a whole lot. I didn't make a whole lot of things. I did play some music. I did like play guitar and stuff a little bit. I did do a little bit of art. I did do some writing. Actually, writing was really, really helpful for me. You know, doing some journaling, doing some just like fiction writing, like just for fun for me. Doing some writing. Doing some of those things was really helpful. Also listen to a lot of music, and music is just, it's very healing. And obviously, as you can see, music's like a big part of my life, and love me some good hard rock and heavy metal. And that was what I needed. Also, like, you know, hanging out with friends and stuff, good friends, of course. I also went and saw, I had an appointment with a medium. She was so great, and I was really impressed because she told me a bunch of stuff she could not possibly know about certain people. And so I was pretty impressed with all of that. And that really helped me too. Like, it kind of helped me to, like, give me some comfort and things like that. So it was really good. I've also, like I said, been out a little bit, and, you know, just working and, you know, not doing a whole lot of like new things. I think at the end of this video, I'll put up a little video of like, I went out with a friend of mine to the Forks, which is, how do I explain the Forks? It's kind of this area in our town where there's two rivers that meet, and there's kind of like a market there. There's like shops and things. There's a little bit of a park there. There's like boats and things. Like, it's just like, it's kind of like a cool place where people go and hang out. And it's often where a lot of like civic events and things happen. So I might post a little video at the end of that one, at the end of this, just showing you kind of what I did. And some of the wildlife around campus. Like, I work at a university, and we're near a river, and it's actually like super surprising the amount of wildlife that I see. Like there's like a family of groundhogs that lives near my building, which is so cute. I saw a fawn. There was like, I saw 2 like young raccoons the other day. Like it's surprising, but we have a lot. We have bald eagles too. So it's pretty cool. So I'll put up some of that, I think, at the end. And I've just also enjoyed like watching other people in the kind of tarot and witchy community, their videos and seeing what they're up to. And, you know, it just kind of made me feel like, even though I wasn't really making a lot of videos this past month, that I was still in the community and still seeing what was going on. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of give you that's chit chatty update, talk about llamas, talk about what I've been up to. I'm going to have a video up later this week where I show you the decks I'm working with for the month of August. I'm also going to be doing for August, because August is my birthday month, and I am turning the big 50. Yes, people, I am turning 50. I feel like, how is that authorized? It is so weird to be like, what? Like, how did I get here? I mean, I'm glad. I mean, sure beats the alternative, right? But I'm like, holy shit, like, what the hell, people? So in honor of the big 50th birthday, I'm going to be doing a sale on my Etsy shop for the month of August, where reduced prices on all of the readings. So if you want to get a reading from me, it's a great time to do so. But also, yeah, I'm going to do like a little, the wisdom of like what I've learned from being 50 years old. Later this month in August. I don't know. Do I have wisdom? Who knows? But it's wild to be here. Half a century. What the hell? Anyway, I just want to thank all of you for being here and supporting me, especially my patrons. You guys are awesome and amazing. Like, so amazing. So thankful for you guys through this difficult time. And thank you to all of you for the kind comments and watching and the likes and things. Like, it just, you know, it makes me feel like, yeah, like people are out there and they support me, and I just thank you so much. Anyway, I'm going to put up some videos, some wildlife, and some scenes of the forks. Enjoy. I hope that you have a wonderful, amazing llamas. Check out on them, like I said, on my Patreon for free. I'm going to have this week a suggested creative a ritual to invite in creative inspiration, creativity inspiration spells. So you might like that. Check out too Patreon. I got to do it. I got to do the plug, right? I have weekly tarot scopes and weekly astrology reports, all the details on astrology. On the Coven level, we're going to be talking about creativity, and the Academy level, we are working with the Thoth Tarot. I'm doing a journey through the Thoth, comparing it with the RWF. I'm learning the Thoth, and you can learn with me. Otherwise, I hope you're having a wonderful, amazing summer, and to those of you down under, a awesome winter. And I'm sending you just so much love. Oh, I said I was going to pull a card for all of us, so let's pull our card. All right, so let's shuffle. Let's see what is a good message for all of us, everybody watching, for Lammas season. Oh, we have find the blessing in your current situation. We have Krishna. So I'm not an expert on like Hindu religion, mythology, but I know Brahma, Vishnu, and Vishnu and Shiva make up the trinity of Brahma's the creator, Vishnu is the preserver, and Shiva is the destroyer. So sort of like the cycle of life. Well, Krishna is a version of Vishnu. He's like a reincarnation. I don't know if it's like a reincarnation or like it's like he's come to earth. And Krishna, you know, he's often shown with like the blue skin and everything. He is seen as kind of like this, I don't know, it's almost like a Christ-like figure, but not quite. Like, that's probably like a bad comparison or whatever. But, you know, someone who brings like peace and love and is a symbol of that in the world. And it says to find the blessing in your current situation. And I think that's a lovely message. And hey, I could use that message for sure. Saying that, you know, life isn't always easy, that's for sure. And there's things that happen that are devastating and things that are disappointing. But even if we can find some tiny good, some small good, some blessing in those situations, then, you know, that is helpful to ourselves. It doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge the bad stuff, but it does mean like, how can I make this better? What blessing can I attain from that? And I think, you know, with Lammas, because it's so much about harvest and it's about that season, it's saying like, look at all the beautiful blessings we have around us. I mean, things may not be perfect, certainly, but to appreciate the blessings that we do have. And I think because we have those difficult times and those difficult things, you know, it helps us sometimes to appreciate the things that are good and to appreciate how good we really do have things. So I think that is a lovely Lammas message. Anyway, I'm going to leave you all, like I said, with some wildlife, some scenes from the Forks. As always, you guys are the best. Thank you so much. And as always, peace and love and love.
See, look at the little water taxi. There's one right there.